Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Frater Oz again. Today I'm going to read to you once again from Magic Book 4 by Aleister Crowley. It's a great book. And I'm going to be reading a very important Liber today. This is Liber E, Vel Exercitiorum, Subfigura 9, Section 1. It is absolutely necessary that all experiments should be recorded in detail during or immediately after their performance. It is highly important to note the physical and mental condition of the experimenter or experimenters. The time and place of all experiments must be noted, also the state of the weather, and generally all conditions which might conceivably have any result upon the experiment, either as adjuvants to or causes of the result, or as inhibiting it, or as sources of error. The AA will not take official notice of any experiments which are not thus properly recorded. It is not necessary at this stage for us to declare fully the ultimate end of our researches, nor indeed would it be understood by those who have not become proficient in these elementary courses. The experimenter is encouraged to use his own intelligence, and not to rely upon any other person or persons, however distinguished, even among ourselves. The written records should be intelligibly prepared so that others may benefit from its study. The book John St. John, published in the first number of the Equinox, is an example of this kind of a record by a very advanced student. It is not as simply written as we could wish, but it will shew the method. The more scientific the record is, the better, yet the emotions should be noted as being some of the conditions. Let then the record be written with sincerity and care, and with practice it will be found more and more to approximate to the ideal. 2. Physical clairvoyance. Take a pack of tarot playing cards, shuffle, cut, draw one card. Without looking at it, try to name it. Write down the card you name and the actual card. Repeat and tabulate results. This experiment is probably easier with an old genuine pack of tarot cards, preferably a pack used for divination by someone who really understood the matter. Remember that one should expect to name the right card once in 78 times. Also, be careful to exclude all possibilities of obtaining the knowledge through the ordinary senses of sight and touch or even smell. There was once a man whose fingertips were so sensitive that he could feel the shape and position of the pips and so judge the card correctly. It is better to try first the easier form of the experiment by guessing only the suit. Remember that in 78 experiments you should obtain 22 trumps and 14 of each other suit, so that without any clairvoyance at all you can guess right twice in 7 times roughly by calling trumps each time. Note that some cards are harmonious. Thus it would not be a bad error to call the 5 of swords, the Lord of Defeat, instead of the 10 of swords, the Lord of Ruin. But to call the Lord of Love for the Lord of Strife would show that you were getting nothing right. Similarly, a card ruled by Mars would be harmonious with a 5, a card of Gemini with the Lovers. These harmonies must be thoroughly learnt according to the numerous tables given in 777. As you progress, you will find that you are able to distinguish the suit correctly 3 times in 4, and that very few indeed inharmonious errors occur, while in 78 experiments you are able to name the card aright as many as 15 or 20 times. When you have reached this stage, you may be admitted for examination, and in the event of your passing, you will be given more complex and difficult exercises. Section 3. Asana, posture. You must learn to sit perfectly still with every muscle tense for long periods. You must wear no garment that interferes with the posture in any of these experiments. The first position, the God. Sit in a chair, head up, back straight, knees together, hands on knees, eyes closed. The second position, the dragon. Kneel, buttocks resting on the heels, toes turned back, back and head straight, hands on thighs. The third position, the ibis. Stand. Hold left ankle with right hand and alternately practice right ankle in left hand, etc. free forefinger on the lips. The fourth position, the thunderbolt. Sit, left heel pressing up anus, right foot poised on its toes, the heel covering the phallus, arms stretched out over the knees, head and back straight. Various things will happen to you while you are practicing these positions. They must be carefully analyzed and described. Note down the duration of the practice, the severity of the pain, if any, which accompanies it, the degree of rigidity attained, and any other pertinent matters. When you have progressed up to the point that a saucer filled to the brim with water and poised upon the head does not spill one drop during a whole hour, and when you can no longer perceive the slightest tremor in any muscle, when, in short, you are perfectly steady and easy, you will be admitted for examination, and should you pass, you will be instructed in more complex and difficult practices. 4. Pranayama, regularization of the breathing. At rest in one of your positions, close the right nostril with the thumb of the right hand and breathe out slowly and completely through the left nostril, while your watch marks 20 seconds. Breathe in through the same nostril for 10 seconds. Changing hands, repeat with the other nostril. Let this be continuous for 1 hour. When this is quite easy to you, increase the periods to 30 and 15 seconds. When this is quite easy to you, but not before, breathe out for 15 seconds, in for 15 seconds, and hold the breath for 15 seconds. When you can do this with perfect ease and comfort for a whole hour, practice breathing out for 40, in for 20 seconds. This being attained, practice breathing out for 20, in for 10, holding the breath for 30 seconds. When this has become perfectly easy to you, you may be admitted for examination, and should you pass, you will be instructed in more complex and difficult practices. You will find that the presence of food in the stomach, even in small quantities, makes the practices very difficult. Be careful never to overstrain your powers, especially never get so short of breath that you are compelled to breathe out jerkily or rapidly. Strive after depth, fullness, and regularity of breathing. Various remarkable phenomena will very probably occur during these practices. They must be carefully analyzed and recorded. 5. Dharana, control of thoughts. Constrain the mind to concentrate itself upon a single, simple object imagined. The 5 tattvas are useful for this purpose. They are a black oval, a blue disc, a silver crescent, a yellow square, a red triangle. Proceed to combinations of simple objects, e.g., a black oval within a yellow square, and so on. Proceed to simple moving objects, such as a pendulum swinging, a wheel revolving, etc. Avoid living objects. Proceed to combinations of moving objects, a piston rising and falling while a pendulum is swinging. The relation between the two movements should be varied in different experiments. Or even a system of flywheels, eccentrics, and governor. During these practices, the mind must be absolutely confined to the object determined upon. No other thought must be allowed to intrude upon the consciousness. The moving systems must be regular and harmonious. Note carefully the duration of the experiments, the number and nature of the intruding thoughts, the tendency of the object itself to depart from the course laid out for it, and any other phenomena which may present themselves. Avoid overstrain. This is very important. Proceed to imagine living objects as a man, preferably some man known to and respected by yourself. In the intervals of these experiments, you may try to imagine the objects of the other senses and concentrate upon them. For example, try to imagine the taste of chocolate, the smell of roses, the feeling of velvet, the sound of a waterfall, or the ticking of a watch. Endeavor finally to shut out all objects of any of the senses and prevent all thoughts arising in your mind. When you feel you have attained some success in these practices, apply for examination, and should you pass, more complex and difficult practices will be prescribed for you.